Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. You're watching Newsroom. I'm your host, Khalid. But today is Friday, the 13th of October, 2023. These are the stories that we'll be highlighting during the course of the show. We'll begin, ladies and gentlemen, with the upcoming visit of our caretaker Prime Minister, Mr. Kakar, to China to attend the third Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation that is going to be held in Beijing between the 17th and the 18th of this month. It's a very important for moot, and of course we all know the importance of the Belt and Road Initiative and the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. That forms a very important aspect of the BRI. Pakistan and China's friendship are of course time-tested, are long-standing, are extremely strong, and the CPEC and the BRI only add to that strength, to that cooperation. And of course this visit is going to be very important to further ascertain which are the routes that both the countries are going to take as far as the future of the CPEC are concerned. This is going to be our first segment. Then we are going to talk about the Palestinian issue, and of course we are trying to highlight it as much as we can because the atrocities are not ending. Every passing day we find new things that are happening to the people in Palestine, especially those who are in Gaza, in this small enclave where 2.3 million people are housed. The Israeli Air Force, as per a report, has dropped 6,000 bombs on Gaza since Saturday. The attacks have killed 1,500 Palestinians, a third of them children, as far as the Palestinian Health Ministry is concerned, and also 6,600 people have been wounded. What a staggering amount. And what is the world doing? My second segment is around this. My third story today, of course, will be highlighting a lot of interesting issues. The first being lunar dust that could be melted to make solar roads. It's a very important concept. You know, we talk about the moon, we talk about Salama and the roads being constructed. Who thought that, you know, one day we'll be making roads on the moon as well? Well, that is going to exactly happen as we speak. And this is it's going to be backed by NASA. The moon has no air, no water, and extreme 250 degrees temperature range, but we are going to have solid roads on the moon. Then we are going to talk about scientists that are tracking alarming melting of the Antarctic ice shelves. We've all talked about the gulf that happens in Pakistan as well, the melting of the ice on the top of the mountains, but this is also something that is really you know, alarming all the important scientists, especially the climate scientists. 40% of Antarctica's ice shelves have significantly shrunk over the last 25 years, and the melting has seen 71 of Antarctica's 162 ice shelves lose their mass. Finally, we are going to talk about, we are going to end on a very positive note. I hope we also get the opportunity to earn as much money as this man from California did. He has won 1.765 billion US dollars. I repeat, 1.765 billion US dollars in the Powerball jackpot lottery. What a staggering amount, and what a wonderful and happy man this guy must be after having won this much money. Let's see what he does with it. This is going to be our lineup for today. Let's begin with our first segment, ladies and gentlemen, and that concerns the Belt and Road Initiative, of which the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor is a very important integral part. And of course, our caretaker Prime Minister, Mr. Kakar, is going to China to take part in the third Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation to be held between the 17th and the 18th in Beijing. More in the following report.
The third Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation will be held in Beijing from October 17 to 18 under the theme High Quality Belt and Road Cooperation Together for Common Development and Prosperity. Caretaker Prime Minister Omar Kakar will visit China to participate in the forum next week. The Foreign Office spokesperson said the Prime Minister is undertaking the visit at the invitation of Chinese President Xi Jinping. Prime Minister Kakar would attend the opening ceremony of the BRI and address the high-level forum titled Connectivity in an Open Global Economy. Representatives from many developing countries, notably from Latin America and Africa, are expected to attend this big event. The China-Pakistan Economic Corridor is a major and pilot project of the Belt and Road Initiative. It is a long-term and systematic project to promote economic cooperation through collaboration on Gwadar port, energy, transportation, infrastructure, and industrial cooperation. Under the CPEC, China has launched a single-window operation with Pakistan and other partner countries to improve the efficiency of customs clearance at border ports. The Belt and Road Initiative runs through the continents of Asia, Europe, and Africa, connecting the vibrant East Area Economic Circle at one end and developed European Economic Circle at the other, and encompassing countries with huge potential for economic development.
We discuss this very important aspect of collaboration, cooperation between Pakistan and the People's Republic of China, that is the BRI and the CPEC. We'll be joined in the studios by Javed Siddiq Sahib. He's a senior journalist and a frequent guest, but he's returning to the studios after quite some time. Thank you very much, Javed Sahib, to have joined us and to have come all the way to the studios. Javed Sahib, how significant is this third Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation as far as A, Pakistan-China collaboration is concerned, B, the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor is concerned?
Well, this is very important. I think this Belt and Road Forum, which is going to be attended by our Prime Minister, caretaker Prime Minister, will have a very deep look on the progress that the BRI is making, and specifically the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, which is a part of BRI. And Chinese have stood by Pakistan through thick and thin. China has been our most trusted friend, and they have invested close to $26–27 billion through CPEC, and they have generated a lot of jobs for Pakistanis, this project. They have also set up the energy projects, which have basically helped us overcome the power shortages in Pakistan. They have also done a lot of infrastructure work in Pakistan, boosting the connectivity of Pakistan with other countries. And they have also built the Gwadar port, which is of so importance and great importance for Pakistan. So this Belt and Road initiative and is of great significance for Pakistan. The Chinese investment particularly is of great significance, and it is giving an impetus to Pakistan's growth. And I think our Prime Minister, who has been invited by the President of China,
Xi Jinping,
will exchange thoughts about how to boost and how to accelerate the speed and the process of CPEC, because some circles believe that the process or the speed of the process is not as we were expecting. So there's a need to accelerate this speed. So these things are going to be discussed, and also some of the new projects might be discussed there, which are to be included in this CPEC. And the Chinese will give their point of view, and one of the projects that is going to be included in this CPEC is M1 railway project, and the cost has been reduced of that project, and hopefully when it is completed, a rail line between Karachi and Peshawar is going to be of great significance. It is going to be a great help in the economic growth of Pakistan. So these issues, plus I think when our caretaker Prime Minister and the Chinese leadership meet, they will also discuss the bilateral relations. That will be an opportunity for them to talk about bilateral relations, how to improve them, and also the regional situation. So this is going to be a very, very important visit for our caretaker Prime Minister, and he will be apprising the Chinese leadership of Pakistan's current position, the economic situation, and what Pakistan expects from China to do for it.
All right. Speaking of expectations, what are your expectations from the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor? What should be the key objectives as far as both Pakistan and China are concerned for the future of this very important corridor?
I think the first thing is that Pakistan is suffering from energy crisis, and China has done a lot in that connection. I mean, some power projects have been set up in Pakistan and by the Chinese companies, and we expect that China will help Pakistan overcome the energy shortages and also to lower the prices, the rates of energy in Pakistan, because Pakistan needs cheaper energy in order to compete with the world, in order to compete in the export market. So I think that is going to be very important. If China helps us bring down the rates of the power sector, that will be of great assistance to Pakistan. Pakistan can boost its exports to other countries, and it will be competitive. The Pakistani products will be competitive. Also some other projects like Gwadar port, that needs to be completed, and it needs to be made totally functional in all respects, so that Pakistan and China both benefit from it in a great way, the way it was expected to benefit both countries. And then the job creation.
That is very important.
It is very important. Pakistan has a huge potential of youth, almost 63%. So Pakistan is looking for opportunities to create jobs and engage this youth so that it becomes an engine of growth for Pakistan. So I think that is very important. And we expect the Chinese will engage and employ more youth in Pakistan, and they will empower them through the vocational training, and that will be of great assistance to Pakistan to reduce the joblessness in Pakistan. That's going to be a very important aspect.
All right, Javed Sahab, you talked about the billions of dollars that China has, invested as far as the China-Pakistan economic corridor is concerned. How has that helped Pakistan's economy? If I talk of industries like energy, infrastructure, textiles, and 10 years have passed since this important corridor began between the two countries. Where are we now 10 years after?
I think we have learned lessons from these 10 years. As I've said, that the pace of the development that was expected through this CPEC projects and CPEC, that pace has not been achieved. And both countries, China and Pakistan, they are desirous of increasing the pace of work on the CPEC projects. For example, special economic zones, they need to be set up. And as I've said, that more energy projects need to be set up, but the cost of those projects, the cost of the energy that we get from these projects should be very competitive, so that Pakistan could benefit it, Pakistan could increase its export to other countries of the world. Pakistan-China trade, bilateral trade, is an important factor, and that needs to be evaluated in what way both countries can benefit from this bilateral trade between the two countries. Also, I think more important is the fact that how China could make these projects, labor intensive, because Pakistan needs to reduce the unemployment in Pakistan. So that is another aspect.
But that is one of the aims of the CPEC, isn't it, to create more job opportunities?
So I think some of the experts, some of the economic experts, they think that it has not been able to create the number of jobs that we were expecting from it.
All right.
Although about 200,000 plus jobs have been created through various projects, but Pakistan needs more jobs to be created through CPEC. And some of the setbacks that we have suffered during the CPEC project's completion, that need to be taken, a review needs to be taken of these projects. And where we have not been able to meet the targets, that needs to be studied, and I think we need to work very hard to meet those objectives and targets. Chinese want us to speed up the process, and bottlenecks that are there on our part, they need to be removed, so that the design of the project and the project objectives are met in a very short period of time. 10 years is a long period of time.
It's a long period.
And I think we should have been at the top as far as the objectives, the completion of the objectives that were set up for us, for both countries, to be achieved in 10 years. So 10 years period needs to be taken care of. It needs to be scrutinized.
As to what needs to be done to further improve the next 3 years.
And also how this CPEC can basically boost Pakistan's economy. We are passing through a very hard period.
True.
As far as economy is concerned. Exports are not rising, and our energy segment is very, very depressing, and there are other problems associated with us.
But energy is one of the hallmarks of this second phase of the China-Pakistan.
So what we need, if China could help us produce or complete some of the hydro projects, and that can bring us, that can bring the prices of electricity down, because hydro power is cheaper than the powers being generated through coal and through oil and other sources. So I think China is working on some dams in Pakistan, and if China is able to complete that, that will be of great assistance to Pakistan to lower the prices of energy in Pakistan. And the people at large, they're actually hit by the high prices of electricity.
Right.
I think that is
one area that needs to be worked on,
Yeah.
and I'm sure that will be worked on and discussed between both the sides. The business environment, as far as Pakistan's different industries are concerned, have we learned from the Chinese side? Has that improved in these 10 years as far as mutual collaboration is concerned?
I think we are trying to learn that. But the Chinese, they have proven to the world that they're so smart, and the speed with which they are completing their own projects, that speed they don't find in Pakistan. That frustrates them sometimes. But I think Pakistan can learn a lot from how the Chinese go about it, how the Chinese design the projects, and how they complete it, and with what speed they complete it. And I think we need to learn a lot from them. China has now become a superpower in a very short span of time. In almost 20 years, it has risen to the status of a world superpower.
Agreed.
And they have been able to lift almost 70 crore people from poverty, and they are now prosperous people, living a very, very comfortable life. They are very well off, and that is considered to be a miracle by China, that it has been able to catapult a huge population of 700 million from abject poverty to a well-off position.
All right, Javed Sahab, I'd like to also understand our agriculture sector. That is something that needs a lot of improvement, updation, and for that China could be of extreme help.
Great
That is also
yes.
part of the China-Pakistan economic corridor. Do you feel we have evolved as far as our agricultural sector is concerned, or our agricultural cooperation is concerned in these 10 years? What more do we need to do in these 10 years as far as strengthening our own agricultural sector through the example that China has laid down? For example, post the floods, how our agriculture sector has been affected, maybe bringing in technologies that give rise to crops that are unaffected or rarely affected by floods would be one example. What other things do you feel need to be taken up as example from Chinese agricultural sector?
I think China has made big strides in the agriculture sector. They have boosted the agriculture production in their own country to astronomical heights. So I think we can learn a lot from them. China has done a huge research in agriculture sector, and they have introduced new seeds and new technologies to boost the agricultural production at home. So we can learn a lot from them. Chinese have also shown interest in using the land which has not been cultivated by Pakistan, which is not under cultivation in Pakistan. Hundreds of thousands of acres of land in Pakistan is unutilized.
True.
So I think China can help us in a big way. And recently the SIFC, they have taken note of this, and they are trying to introduce corporate agriculture. And some other countries besides China, like Saudi Arabia, UAE and others, they have shown interest to go for the corporate agriculture in Pakistan and bring those lands which are not cultivated, which are non-productive, and these lands can help us boost our agriculture production to a great height. So I think China and these countries can help Pakistan revolutionize our agriculture field. And as we know, everybody knows in Pakistan that agriculture is the backbone of our economy, and almost 26% of our labor, manpower, is engaged in the agriculture sector. So there's a huge scope to boost our agricultural production, and through that we can also zip up the exports to other countries in the region and beyond. So I think China can help us a lot, and that sector still needs to be tapped by both China and Pakistan jointly.
All right. A financial think tank in Pakistan releases a report on the 10 years of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor and, of course, the BRI, and highlights many important aspects on which China and Pakistan have collaborated and will continue to collaborate. One of that is Pakistan's industrialization and large-scale manufacturing. How important is that? What can Pakistan also learn from the Chinese side as far as examples to further boost this arena?
I think the performance of the large-scale manufacturing sector has been very dismal. And if we look at the last few years, it has been declining. China has done miracles as far as large-scale manufacturing is concerned in the last 2 decades. So they can share their experience with us. And we need to learn a lot. Learning is basically something very important. We are our manpower, our experts, and all these people who are engaged in the large-scale manufacturing in Pakistan, they have to learn a lot from China. And the Chinese want these people, our people, to show their profound interest in it. And if they are not interested, and if they are, continuing with the old habits and attitude, Pakistan will not be able to boost its large-scale manufacturing. And we know that unless the large-scale manufacturing industrial production does not increase in Pakistan, our exports will not be able to be very high. And we will not be able to earn foreign exchange only through textile or a few other sectors.
True.
We need to export the industrial products as well. And we need to basically overhaul the engineering sector in Pakistan, and China can help us in a big way.
Let's hope that this collaboration in this decade also reaps the fruits that both the countries have been wanting since the beginning of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor 10 years back. And we are all looking forward so that this proves to be that chapter that finally strengthens Pakistan economy so that we no longer can go to lender organizations and can stand up on our own with our own resources. Thank you very much, Javed Siddiq Sahab, to have joined us, to have talked to us about the 10 years of CPEC, and of course the upcoming visit to Beijing by our caretaker Prime Minister, Mr. Kakar, which will be important as far as this moot is concerned. Thank you, sir, very much to have joined us. And of course, I'd like to end with the Belt and Road Initiative and what Mumtaz Zahra Baloch, our spokesperson for the Foreign Office, said. She said China has signed Belt and Road cooperation documents with more than 150 countries and more than 30 international organizations. Let's hope we stand in the next year or so amongst the top 10 as far as the countries that China has signed agreements with under the Belt and Road Initiative. Let's come to our second story, and that concerns Palestine, Israel, the casualties, the barbarities, the violence that continues unabated, and the world that has still to take the real side of the Palestinians. More in the following report.
Fear, confusion as Israel issues evacuation order for northern Gaza. Israel bombed the only road in or out of occupied Gaza after telling Palestinians to escape through it. The Israeli military has told civilians in Gaza City to relocate to the south before it said significant military operations in the coming days. The United Nations considered it impossible for such a movement to take place without devastating humanitarian consequences. Israeli air attacks have made major cemeteries in Gaza too dangerous to reach, so mourning families are burying their dead in informal graveyards dug in empty lots. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has arrived to meet senior Israeli government leader to see some of the weapons and security assistance the U.S. has rapidly delivered. Human Rights Watch accused Israel of using white phosphorus munitions in its military operation in Gaza and Lebanon. Israeli forces also launched missile attacks on the airports in Syria's capital Damascus and the northern city of Aleppo, damaging the runways and putting both hubs out of service. Saudi Arabia urged international community to help end conflict and protect civilians, calling the Israeli military aggression against the Palestinians a war crime. China's foreign minister said the Palestinian issue is the core of the Middle East conflict and that crux of the matter was that justice had been denied to the Palestinian people.
All right, now to discuss the situation in Palestine, we've been joined from Palestine by Alaa Salama. She is a Palestinian journalist. Alaa, thank you very much to have joined us. You are currently present in Gaza, of course, this enclave that is encircled by all sides by the Israelis. There is a blockade as far as food, water is concerned. What is the ground situation there as far as the food and water and different other resources are concerned, and how are the Palestinians surviving?
Dangerous, and it's really serious. They are threatening us to be targeted if we didn't escape and flee from our homes and go to the south of Gaza Strip. But we cannot actually be assured that if we also escape, that they will leave us, or maybe they will target us. Nothing is we cannot depend on. I mean, we cannot. We are not safe. Really, we are not safe. We are in a real danger. And really, I cannot say what I want. I mean, things are deteriorating, and there is no water, no electricity. Even I cannot, what I'm trying to say. I mean, we are under a mass genocide. It's Israel opportunity to kill us all, to kill us all Palestinians. It's not about Hamas. It's not about the Hamas targeted Israel or what else. It's something planned for a long time. So it's their opportunity to kill us and to wipe out the Palestinian cause.
Even hospitals are targeted. Even the dead people who are killed and slaughtered, they don't have place for them. They don't have place to bury them. We don't know what to do, really. No one is with us. No one is condemned. No one condemns what is happening. It's totally conspiracy and
Alaa, we of course empathize with you, sympathize with you. We understand the grief that you are and all of your Palestinian brethren are facing at this moment. And believe you me that all your Pakistani brothers and sisters are praying for you today and will continue to pray for you and do whatever we can for you to come out of this situation. What does Palestine, what do you as Palestinians expect from the Muslim world, expect from countries such as Pakistan, other important Muslim countries, as far as responding to Israeli aggression is concerned?
We expect from international community, freedom fighters, Muslims to stand with Palestinians, to stand with justice. Standing in a biased situation, it means that you are complicit with occupation, with injustice, with apartheid, with genocide. It's a high time for all freedom fighters, for community, for international community to stand against injustice.
Thank you very much, Alaa Salama, to have joined us. That was Alaa Salama, Palestinian journalist, joining us from Gaza. And of course, you can see in the way she was talking to us of the grief that her and her compatriots are going through, of the pressure that they are going through, of the extreme inhumane conditions in which they are present currently, whether it be the lack of water, food, or even electricity. I don't know where this whole situation is going. To discuss more on that, we've been joined by Dr. Farah Naz, expert in international relations. Farah, thank you very much to have joined us. Farah, you must have just heard Alaa Salama talking about what is happening in Palestine, in Gaza as well. Israel bombs, drops around 6,000 bombs in Gaza. What do you expect if, in the coming days, with the number of casualties that are increasing with every passing hour and day?
Thank you, Omar, for having me. First of all, it's not only about the way Israel is bombing Gaza. Israel is also planning land kind of invasion, the defensive mechanism that they are planning, that will lead towards more and more numbers of the Palestinians getting killed in the process. Unfortunately, it's the international community who have to come forward and stop Israel. But the problem is the world powerful states like the United States of America, European Union, they all are standing in support with Israel to go and bomb Palestinian. And I'm amazed the way media is reporting about it. When they talk about Palestinians getting killed in the process, they say 500, 600, 1,800 Palestinians died, while 700 Israelis were killed. So there's a huge discrepancy in the way they are reporting even about the Palestinians, about the people in Gaza. So they have to acknowledge the fact that Gaza is not home to Hamas only. Gaza is home to Palestinians, more than 2 million Palestinians. And in the process, if they are going to kill Palestinians, that will not serve them the desired goals and objectives. Unfortunately, it will lead towards more unveiling of the dark side of the West, and particularly Israel in the world, who is going behind innocent people and killing them. Here, if they have to deal with Hamas, they can deal with that through negotiation, through diplomatic means. But if they go by killing and bombing Palestinians, I think they will not achieve their desired objectives.
All right, Farah, what is in your point of view being done? When I mean, you have access, so do I, to all the international media outlets, on social media. Everything is rampant on what is happening. Are you satisfied with the way the world is reacting to the Palestinian inhumane behavior? Are you satisfied with the way the world is quote unquote helping the Palestinians?
No, not at all. Not at all. For the world, the way the Israelis are getting killed, the Jews are getting killed is supreme and above all, as like, they are the children of the better God or something like that. But when it comes to Palestinians are just treated like any, they're not even treated human beings. So I cannot even categorize them in the category of human beings at all. So even the West and all the international countries, they are showing sympathy towards animals. So if they even treat them as one of them, probably there will be better results to come. But unfortunately, the way international media, the way international system, the way all these powerful states are treating Palestinians is not acceptable. First and foremost, the way they are reporting about Palestinians is not acceptable. There is clear racism that is shown over there, that if you are an Arab, if you are a Palestinian, you are least important to us. But if you are Jew by any chance, this is where your life becomes supreme and above all. So there's this huge discrepancy which is popping up on international media. And as I mentioned, like talking about, writing about Palestinians getting killed in the process, they say they died. So there's a huge different mechanism that they are applying on. And another thing that we should be focusing on is the way Israel has given 24 hours ultimatum to Palestinians in the northern part of Gaza to leave the territory. I'm not getting what they want to do with that. And secondly, where will they exit? Like the only point that they have, if you look at the Gaza Strip, is a very thin strip of like 365 kilometers or 360 kilometers, and it is 41 kilometer and 6 to 12 kilometer wide. So in that capacity, the only exit point available to them is through an exit point towards Egypt. Now here, Cairo is also giving its statements about that they cannot take the refugee. They will support Palestinians. They will provide whatever they can in Gaza, but they will not let the refugees enter Egypt at this point in time. And Israel is pushing, and America is pushing the international community to put pressure on Cairo to accept the refugees. But I don't know how this is going to happen. This is not solution to the problem.
That's a very
The
important
solution
question
to
on where all of this leading, Farah, and we all are as asking the same questions as you are. We've also been joined by Inas Faris Ghanam, who is a Palestinian journalist who joins us online as well. Inas, thank you very much to have joined us. When you look at the international response to the Palestinian plight of not having enough water, food, electricity, the blockade of that, then the blockade of items, even friendly countries who've been trying to get food into Gaza have not been allowed to. Then comes the whole issue of the relocation of Palestinians to neighborhood countries. How do you see that? What are you foreseeing in the coming days? Let's not even talk of weeks, let's talk of the coming days.
Hello.
Yes,
So Israel is starvation against the Palestinians in Gaza. I mean, at the first they started a siege that lasted for 17 years, in which Palestinians in Gaza could not leave Gaza, could not have opportunities to work or to improve themselves. In Gaza, we had like about 42% of unemployment rate, and we had a poverty of more than 50. That was only before this whole thing started. And we are talking about many attacks that the Gazans, the Palestinians in Gaza, have witnessed for 75 years. Talk about Palestinians, 75 years for the Palestinians, and for the Gazans for 17 years under the siege. And this is considered like the sixth attack on Gaza. I mean, the sixth war that we have been witnessing. We had first the one in 2008, 2013, 21, 22, 23. We are counting these attacks, and we are, and in every attack that is happening, we had not hear any of the international media or of the West media talking about what is happening in Palestine, and every time they were saying that Israel has the right to defend itself, but what about the Palestinians who are being killed? Palestinians in Gaza are yesterday were asked were ordered by Israel to leave their homes in the north and go to the south. They had only 24 hours to go to the south. Otherwise, they are going to be killed. And the Palestinians, you can see in the news, you can see in everywhere that the Palestinians took their covers, all of their stuff, and they started to move. And then, like million Palestinians from the north, from Gaza city, went and now, like while they were in the road, they were also attacked. They were deceived by Israel, and they were attacked in the way. Now the number of the Palestinians who were killed so far is more than 1,700, including there are 1,799 Palestinians, including 583 children and 351 women. And about 7,388 Palestinians were injured, including 1,901 children and 1,185 women. We are talking about civilians. We are not talking about military. We are not talking about soldiers. Those are just civilians, women, children. So what exactly are we talking about here?
Ines, how has the international reaction come, especially when it concerns countries like, say, Iran and Egypt? Are you satisfied by the responses that have emanated from these countries? Do you expect more to come from other Muslim countries? What are your expectations from the Muslim world?
Our expectations from them is to at least do something to stop the bloodshed that is happening. What's happening in Gaza is not ethnic cleansing. At least when we say ethnic cleansing, and this is not a very small something to say, but when we say at least we have some place for them to go out for. But what's happening in Gaza is genocide in its meaning. It's a collective punishment that the international law refused, that is prohibited international law, that is prohibited in Geneva Convention. What's happening is just killing Palestinians just while they are at home and doing nothing. So what I'm expecting from these countries is to help in stopping this bloodshed that is happening, and also like the starvation that is happening, the siege, like the tight siege that Israel is now putting against the Palestinians. It is also prohibited international law as well. So Palestinians were already in 17 years of siege, and now they are under more siege, under a tightened siege of no water, no electricity. The health sector in Gaza is deteriorating to its worst cases. Like Al Shifa Hospital says that they only have 2 days of oil, and they wouldn't be able to save anyone. And Al Shifa Hospital is now with densely people. Lots of people are there in Al Shifa Hospital looking for refugee, because there is no safe place in Gaza. Everywhere is under attack. Everywhere is a place that might be attacked in one second or the other.
All right, thank you very much, Anas Faris Ghanam, to have joined us and to have discussed the latest as far as the Palestinian crisis is concerned. And we totally sympathize with you and understand where you're coming from. And I hope something happens for the better for the Palestinian people before it's way too late and before things go out of control. Thank you very much, Anas, to have joined us. Let's go back to Dr. Farah Naz. Farah, you just heard what Anas had to say as far as the Palestinian situation is concerned. When she talks of, the barbaric attitudes, the complete disregard for international laws or international norms when it comes to the way you are, acting on populace. I would like to add the use of white phosphorus bombs to that. Don't you feel that Israel is stooping to a new low as far as dealing with human beings is concerned?
It's not only Israel. I think America, along with Israel, they are stooping too low, and where when it comes to human beings and the cost of the war that is involved there. Innocent Palestinians, civilians that Ghana was referring to, they have no role to play in all of this. If they have some kind of problem, they can go and deal with Hamas themselves. But why they are killing women and children? Why they are killing innocent Palestinians? And they are ordering them that you leave and vacate this place. As I was referring to, where will they leave and how they're going to move about? And is this easy that they are asking 1.2 million people to leave? This is not possible. This is not going to happen. That smoothie that they are thinking about. Definitely, they are having some other plans. Maybe with the movement, probably they would be bombing and shelling on them and killing them further. So they can bring all the people together and they can kill them very easily. Probably the goal is like that. But unfortunately, the international community response is too slow on all of this. I must say the way Iran reacted to it, that is appreciable, and they said that they need to stop it. I appreciate the way Saudi Arabia moved back from its negotiations with Israel. That is also very appreciable, and that is giving some kind of tough time to Israel and its allies, that if they go against humanity, this is what will happen to them in terms of diplomacy. Then in terms of their partnership with one another, that's also going to be affected. Of course, they are all interlinked and interconnected. Secondly, now the Hezbollah coming to the front, it will open another huge debate for Israel to deal with, along with Hamas. So can they afford it? If I look into the capability and potential of Israel, I have no doubts that yes, Israel is a very strong country. Their GDP itself is too stronger when we compare it to the GDP of Palestine. But the problem here is, no matter how strong you are, you have to abide by some laws, some law and order. And that laws in this context is the international law. So they have to go back to the international law and see if they can really do it or not. And if they cannot do it, then what should they be doing? And the only way that I could see is through negotiation and diplomacy. The way Hamas has led towards, a massive intelligence failure of Israel, I think they can do anything, but that time will tell. So they have to not test the patience of Palestinian people further, and then lead towards finding a solution to the problem is the only way forward. Otherwise, the circle, it will be a vicious cycle, and it will keep continuing every now and then. And probably Palestinians cannot afford it. And the way this time it led towards a huge killing of Israelis, the Jewish community, that President Biden is calling it some of like a disaster post-Holocaust that they're referring to. This is too big for them. So if a Palestinian is dying, that's okay. It's okay if it is 1,800 or if even it grows into 18,000, that's perfectly fine. But if 1,300, 1,500 Jews are dying, that's a matter of concern. This is where the mere hypocrisy of the West is popped up here in this scenario.
Thank you very much, Farah, to have joined us. Dr. Farah Naz, international affairs expert, joining us, giving us a very humane point of view of what is actually happening as far as Palestine is concerned, as far as Gaza is concerned. All international laws, all humanitarian laws are not being dealt with the way they are being put in the garbage can, and the Israelis are doing whatever they want to, howsoever they want to, with of course ample support from the powers that be. This shows a complete disregard for humanity as such, and Palestine becomes a prime example of what the certain countries in the world and certain powers in the world can do to appease or to go along with what the Israelis have been wanting all along, to get rid of the Palestinians, to annihilate, as far as different comments that have come on the international media as well, the Palestinian population. I hope the world has a conscience and that it does the needful, because the world turns a very ugly chapter and begins a very, very ugly chapter as far as humanity is concerned. Let's come to our last three stories, ladies and gentlemen. The first concerns lunar dust that could be, as far as scientists are concerned, melted, quote unquote, to make solid roads. Now scientists are planning to melt this lunar dust in order to make roads, in order to, for example, for the future of scientific expeditions on the lunar surface, so that they could be easier, so that there is a proper infrastructure present there as in the form of roads. Study finds that soil can be melted with a laser on the surface of the moon, and so roads can be developed. What scientists eventually plan to do, as we've seen in so many films and television series that are based on science fiction, that colonies will be established on the lunar surface, and of course people will be living there. We will see, of course, how long that will take, but of course this is, I think, in the minds of a lot of countries and a lot of scientific organizations to do in the coming decades. Next, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about climate change and how scientists are ringing the alarm bells as far as the melting of the ice on the Antarctic is concerned. Now about 40% of Antarctica's ice shelves have significantly shrunk over the last 25 years. This has been said in findings made by the European Space Agency, and they say that these findings are extremely alarming. The melting has seen 71 of Antarctica's 162 ice shelves lose mass from the year 1997 to the year 2021, and of course there have in some cases it has the reduction has been significant enough for the alarm bells to be rung. We all know about climate change, we all know how that is impacting the world, and we all know that we need to take those actions. But when are we going to take those actions? That is the big question. Finally, let's end on a slightly positive note. A man in California, a lucky individual, let's put it this way, from California, has won a staggering amount of $1.765 billion in the Powerball jackpot lottery. This was a single ticket this man purchased in the state. It matched all the 6 numbers to win the prize. On Wednesday night, the numbers were, I just need to give you the numbers: 22, 24, 40, 52, 64, and of course the last number was the magic number of 10. And this is what the guy had, and this is what he won, and the collective amount that he has won is $1.765 billion US dollars. I mean, even I can't imagine how much this money is going to be. So this guy is going to be extremely happy, and I think his next 7 generations are going to live a very, very luxurious life. All the best to him and congratulations. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we come to an end of today's newsroom. We'll see you inshallah on Monday with news stories and segments that pertain to us here in Pakistan. It's the weekend. Have a great one, and of course stay careful from diseases such as dengue or conjunctivitis or even COVID. Allah Hafiz.